our mission really is to strengthen the brotherhood of the Ummah of Atlanta. So we've been in operation for about a year and a half, and we're doing a lot of good work. We do social activities for the brothers, like Brothers Hike, going out to eat as a group to different restaurants, prayers in the park, things like that. We also do dawah. We go out in the neighborhood and do dawah to, bring people and call people to Al-Islam. And we also do community service on a quarterly basis. We just wrapped our community service project last weekend with the partnership with the ICNA Food Bank. So we're doing some really good things. And today I'm so glad you guys are here for our workshop series, which is Soldier Sessions. This is a new workshop series that we're doing. And we're very excited to be here at Masjid Al-Mu'minun for our second installment of this series. At this time, I would like to open up with Al-Fatiha, and then I'll introduce our guest speaker for today. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Amen. So the intention for these soldier sessions are to permeate very tangible information that attendees can take for their personal lives and bring out to the real world. We got a lot of stuff going outside the masjid, so what we're trying to do is bring this information to you guys so you can take it and apply it to your life to just, be better as not just a human, but as a Muslim. And so for this topic today, we're doing public speaking 101. Public speaking 101, and we're going to learn how to write, how to build confidence, how to captivate an audience, and so much other things. And at this time, I would like to introduce our guest speaker for today. Okay. Well, really quickly, Brother Ahmed.
Assalamu alaikum. Just wanted to inform you all we are live streaming this session, and I know we're going to have a Q&A, and we have a handheld mic that we were going around to allow you to do that. So if you don't speak into the mic, your question will not be heard. We'll hear it in here, but the audience will not be able to hear it. So be patient with us.
Yes. So at this time, I would like to officially introduce our guest speaker for today, the resident Imam of Masjid Al-Mu'minun, Imam Furqan Muhammad. Please give him a hand.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In, by, and with Allah name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. All praises are due to Allah, the Lord and cherisher of all systems of knowledge. We witness that there is no God except Allah, and we witness that Muhammad indeed is his servant and his messenger. The prayer and the peace be upon him. We thank Brother Kazim Tajuddin for selecting, recommending me to teach and to speak on this subject matter, Public Speaking 101. So this is not something that I chose. This is someone else chose and recommended me for this. We have many Muslims that can teach this same subject matter. So I'm not the only one I feel that is qualified to teach this subject. We welcome all of you to this Public Speaking 101, and to especially Masjid Al-Mu'minun. We ask Allah always to guide our mind, our hearts, our words, our tongue, to say the right thing and to hold back anything that we shouldn't say. Public speaking is a big deal for a Muslim, because we represent all the Muslims when we speak. We don't just represent ourselves. So it has to start off with good intention. We have to start off with our motive for speaking and keeping ego out of the picture. 90% of Islam is etiquettes. Most speakers don't have any etiquette of how they should talk, what they should say, what they shouldn't say. Islam gives us those etiquettes whenever we speak. So we just not making up something or a method in which we speak. Whenever I receive an invitation to speak anywhere, I'm not quick to say yes until certain questions are answered, because I want to give a talk that is tailor-made and custom-made for the occasion. I want all the details, not some of them. And if I don't get all the details, I will not accept that speaking engagement. So I'm going to give you some of the questions that I ask whoever's inviting me to speak. I drill them. I ask questions. Here's the first question that I ask the person. What is the subject matter? And do you have a theme? Because I want my talk to fit inside of the subject matter and to fit the theme. So I need to know that. So when it's all over, I didn't speak on the subject matter. I didn't address the theme. I want to be on point with the people. I want to know the age group. That's very important. 20 to 30 years old, all senior citizens, 60 and above. I need to know that. I need to know the sex. Men and women, just men, just youth. I need to know, is it an ethnic group? Just all African America, all European America, mixed? I need to know that. I need to know, is it mostly Christians? Is it mostly Muslim? It's just mixed? I need to know. These questions have to be answered. You need to know your audience, because what's good for this audience may not be good for another audience. So I have to know the place. Are we speaking at a church? We speaking at a college? We speaking at an elementary school? We speaking at a prison? Because all of that is going to help us to formulate how to give the talk. That's not a situation that has existed or will exist that we can't address. That's how deep and that's how broad Al-Islam is. Never a situation that we can't address. So what we give them is something just for them. And also we have to understand, when you understand water, if you pour water into a round container, it becomes round. You pour it into a square, it becomes square. You pour it into a rectangular, it becomes rectangular. That's how the teachings of Islam is. When we study the history of Prophet Muhammad, the prayer and the peace be upon him, he was always aware of the environment. He was always aware of his audience. He was always aware of who he was talking to. And that makes all the difference in the world. I want to give some example of the audience. And I'm dealing an example of audience that I have addressed. The lowest audience I ever had with everybody was a third grader. That's how beautiful the teaching is. We can take it up or we can bring it down. We have that. Please turn your phone off, your electronic device. This is very special today, what we're giving you. We have given a talk to everybody in the room, soul insurance. We have given a talk where everyone was part of a track team. We have given a talk where everybody in the room was a police officer. And the list goes on. And so far, we have never turned down a speaking engagement. Sometimes they call us, they change the date, or they change the place, or they change the time, but not one time that I didn't make those accommodations, whatever they needed. The date is important. That you look to see, is that a good date for you before you agree? The time, you need to know what time they want you to speak. You definitely need to know the place. And here's one that most of us, we don't think about. How long do I have to speak? Experience. I have been given 2 minutes. I've been given 15 minutes. I've been given 30 minutes. I've been given an hour. And I also be given as long as you want, whatever period you want to talk. But you have to know what is my time frame. I asked them, will I be allowed to have a question and answer period? I don't like to give talks without having a question and answer period. And sometimes I'm told no. And that's okay. I'm their guest. They invited me. They said, you can't have a question and answer period. Then we can't have that. It's important that you know, is your talk live stream? Is your talk going to be recorded? Because you have a right to say, I don't want it recorded. You have a right to say yes to that or no to that. But all these things are answered, so every I is dotted, every T is crossed. When you give your talk, you have to give it in a spirit that you believe it. We have people who give talk and somebody say, he talking like that he don't even believe that his own self, that he telling us. We have to have confidence and belief that Allah got our back, and to speak with some form of authority that everything I'm saying, I believe it. The only fear we should have is the fear of Allah. When I first started, and many of you who speak, you start off with what we call stage fright. And the stage fright transfer to the fear of Allah. What do we mean when we say the fear of Allah? The fear is that an audience is going to leave here after you speak, and they're going to quote you. So you got to make sure what you're saying is the truth. That's the fear of Allah. If I say the Quran says, I want it to be the truth. If I say Prophet Muhammad the Prophet said something, I want it to be the truth. So your fear is misleading somebody. Your fear is making a mistake, but it's no longer stage fright, because you're not scared of people. You're not scared of an audience, but you know you are responsible for what you're saying to the public. And you can't come back and erase it or take it back. So that's the confidence. And also when you understand Allah is with you, that spirit is, I can't be wrong. Allah got my back. And that spirit have to be that Allah is in accordance with what we are saying. Also, good volume. Sometimes there's no microphone. Sometimes the microphone mess up. You have to have some volume, as I tell brothers all the time. You got to put some baritone and some bass in your voice. You have to help people to think during your presentation. You assisting people to think. Do you know roughly 2/3 of the Quran is designed to assist us in our thinking? As you read the Quran, Allah addressed many issues to assist us in our thinking. We want to help the people to think. And sometimes during the question and answer period, the person is not able to articulate his question. So I got to turn around and articulate his question and then turn around and answer it. You'd be surprised at the people that don't know how to ask a question. They know what they want to ask, but they don't know how to formulate that question. We want to use in our talk some Quran and some hadith, some Islamic teaching. To do that effectively, you have to practice strategy. Sometimes if you say the Quran says, they turn their ears off. As soon as you say the Quran said, they ain't listen to you no more. If you say Surah 2, chapter 2, ayat 5, they turn their ears off. The truth is the truth without any label. You don't have to put no label on it. You don't have to say the Quran said. It don't take anything away from the Quran. If you just quote the Quran. And you will find out when you quote the Quran and you don't say it's the Quran, you'll have somebody when it's all over with, you quoting Quran, you saying something from the Quran. And they also know that you're not that smart to make up statement like that you're making. So they can hear the divine in your statement sometime. But depending on the audience, you might be able to say, in our holy book, in the Quran, but you have to weigh that against the audience. And you don't have to say every other word the Prophet Muhammad said. Just say what he said. It don't take anything away of the value of the statement. Again, you have to learn how to practice strategy. And we are at war if you don't know it. And if you don't know you're at war, you don't even know you're in a fight. We are in a fight. We should also use, to help the audience, use universal stories. Story that's already been told all over the world. That's a universal story. Everybody have heard of that story. If you study Quran, it's a lot of stories in the Quran. Allah used these stories to relate to all human beings, not just Arabs, not just Muslim, not just black people or African American. And understand, though we are giving a public talk, and though we are a public speaker, we have to keep the Muslim in front of that. That you're just not a public speaker, or you're just not a speaker, you are a Muslim speaker. Whatever's important, you put it out front and you keep it out front. Because that is the thing is going to distinguish you, and that's the thing that the people are going to remember. They may not remember your name, but they say that Muslim man that spoke at the college, that Muslim man that spoke at the church, they may not even remember your name. Always remember the attention span of people. Human beings do not have a long attention span. You want to make it sweet, plain, clear, and short. We have given talk, and the talk is over, and someone said, it's amazing all the things you said, and you didn't speak for 10 minutes. They're trying to figure out how did you cram all of that in 10 minutes. I'm looking at my watch, and you through. Highly concentrated and highly explosive. Again, Muhammad, the prayer and the peace be upon him, if you don't know this, and we got non-Muslim who have said this about our prophet, the prayer and the peace be upon him. He was the greatest salesman. I want to say that a second time. Non-Muslims have said he is the world's greatest salesman in their opinion. And usually when that is said, somebody say, how you say he was the world's greatest salesman? He sold a product to the public. He sold a product to the people. Originally, they had rejected it. And they eventually accepted. That's a master salesman. Also, we have to look at our own self. Every one of us should be known to be a speaker. In the last sermon that the Prophet Muhammad, the prayer and the peace be upon him, said on Mount Arafat. He said, let those who are here tell those who are not here. Share that message. At that point, everyone is a da'i. At that point, everyone is a dawah person, man or woman, to share the message. And that's what it's all about with us. Islam is a sacred message, but it shouldn't be a secret. Secret means that my neighbors across the street don't know I'm Muslim. Secret means that people I go to school with, they don't know I'm Muslim. Secret means that we work on a job, co-worker, and they don't even know we are Muslim. The Quran, one of the things, they put a demand on the person who has embraced it to share this message with everybody. That's the demand from Quran. Believe in it, all of it, the part that is difficult to read, the part that is not difficult to read, that is easy. You believe all of it is from Allah. You have to read it, not just on Friday, not just during Ramadan. And it is a jealous book. It does not want you to read anything else but it. It is a book that you have to obey all the injunction. Don't do this and do this. And we have to learn to share the message. If you study the Quran, there are 25 prophets, peace be upon them, mentioned in the Quran. More than 25, but Quran only mentioned 25. I told Brother Kazim we're going to do this in 30 minutes, and we're going to open the floor for dialogue, for questions, and we're trying to do all of this by 2:30, and we know the next prayer come in about 3:20, so we definitely don't want to come back after prayer and do a part 2. But we want to try to do this no later than 2:30, be through with everything. My part, we're trying to do it in 30 minutes. If you study these prophets, peace be upon all of them, you'll see a pattern. The pattern is Allah did not give them the responsibility, and he did not give them the power to make somebody believe. That was never their charge. Their charge was what we're telling the Muslim who is a public speaker, make it clear, make it plain, make it simple, and give it to them in their language. So that's what you're about when you're speaking to the people, because that's what Allah put on every prophet, no more than that. Can't grant nobody faith, can't make nobody believe, no compulsion in religion. And this statement I'm going to make now, I only use it when I'm at a college or a school of learning, mostly colleges and universities. When I have finished my talk, I ask 2 questions, but I actually want to ask 1 question. But when I ask the 1 question, they look puzzled, so I have to ask a 2nd question. Here's the first question when I finish. I ask the audience, did everyone understand everything that we have said? And usually it's some form of hesitation at that point. So I asked the 2nd question. I did not ask you, do you believe in what I have said here today? I asked you, did you understand it? They all raised their hands. Never a person that don't raise their hand. And then I make the dua, oh Allah, bear witness that I have delivered your message. I mean, that's it. One of the things that we have to learn to do too, learn to say something in more than one way. Because that helps people. If you said another way, they got it. You said it the first way, you can tell they didn't get it. So learn how to say something in more than one way. I give an example. You say God is one. Okay? So sometimes I tell the people, that means if you have 2 gods, you got 1 too many. That means if you got 3 gods, you got 2 too many. They got it. So sometimes you have to learn to say something in another way, but it's the same thing. 6, half a dozen. Half empty, half full. That is it because some people don't get it the first way you said it. And understand, if what you said is the truth, it should stand the test of being questioned. If you are a liar, you can't open the door for questioning A. Because the lie is going to be exposed and it's going to crumble under Q&A. So we have to welcome a Q&A. And understand at that point when you are speaking, you represent all of the Muslims. I've seen the news media, I have seen other people offer a mic to a Muslim. And his answer was, I don't have nothing to say. Now y'all have to express that to me. How are you a Muslim and you ain't got nothing to say in the midst of what is being said? So that means you don't have to be no imam when they give you a mic to ask you, do you have something to say? But your answer should never be, I ain't got nothing to say. We got a whole lot to say. Matter of fact, people have to cut us off. We got a whole lot to say. So this religion don't require that you be an imam. The same duty is on all of us. Share the message. Spread the message. And that means when the opportunity comes for us to speak, we speak. So it's very important that we understand all of us should be public speakers. The Prophet Muhammad, the prayer and the peace be upon him, he sent Muslims to different parts of the world. Most of that area that was developed during his lifetime. He never told them what to say. He never said, tell them this, and he never did that. He always asked for a report. How is the dawah going to where I sent you? And sometimes he sent one Muslim to a whole country to spread the word. And he will listen to that comment. I'm going to share one of the comments that one of the reporters who went out to teach came back. How are you doing with the dawah? That was the question the Prophet asked this companion. He said, not so good. He said, what are you teaching? They said, we are teaching that there's no God but Allah, and we are teaching that you are his messenger, and ran down the pillars of Islam. The Prophet said, no, that's not the way to do it. You're giving them too much. He said, teach them that there's no God but Allah. Teach them that God is one, and let them respond. And tell them, if you accept that there's no God but God, Allah, then tell them that Muhammad is his messenger. And if they accept that, tell them that Allah has enjoined on them 5 salat every day. So you can see the method that he was teaching his followers. Quran was not revealed at one time. Could Allah, Al-Aziz, the Almighty, could he have revealed the whole Quran at one time? Certainly. 23 years to reveal the entire Quran, and you just met somebody and you trying to get them all the teachings of Islam at one time. That's not the way. So we have to know the people when we speak to them. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, first hijrah was not to Medina. It was to Abyssinia, the country called Ethiopia today. He didn't tell them what to say. They're in a country they never been to, and the religion is developing. The Quran is not a finished product. Just few sheets, few verses, few chapters. And Jafar became the spokesman for the Muslim without being appointed as the spokesperson. He just spoke up. And he quoted from Surah 19. No one told him to quote that. But he know that surah deal with Isa alayhi salam and his mother. And these are Christian. They say when the king heard these words, he started crying. They say when the king heard these words, he drawed a line on the ground. He said, if what you say is the truth, the distance between you and I is like that line on the ground. Jafar knew his audience. He could have said, Qul huwallahu ahad, but that wouldn't have been as effective talking about Jesus and his mother, peace be upon him. So again, the Quran is a toolbox. Sometimes it requires just a Phillips head screwdriver and nothing else. You trying to jam all that stuff down somebody's throat. Sometimes people just need to hear one thing and it's sufficient. And you see them again, you give them some more. Don't give them too much at one time. So it's important, again, that we teach gradually. Sometimes I speak to an audience more than once. I know what I taught the last time. I'm not going to teach that. I'm going to teach something totally different. But this is the logic in education. Pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. We have to address people in the same way. So again, we always open the door for Q&A. We're closing now. That's no question period right now. If Jihad can ask the first question if he like, but I remember I said we were going to try to speak for 30 minutes and then open the floor for question and answer. And remember that Muslims seek perfection in everything we do. So when we speak, we're trying to perfect that talk. And when people hear us talk, they know that we start off different than most speakers. Most speakers, they start out, they don't have a particular pattern. They don't have a particular way. Our method of opening is a traditional open that we open when we talk to the public. Again, we are seeking perfection. That means we don't want to do no shabby job. It means we want to do a professional job. And we never know when a person is going to come to Islam. You listen to people when they tell you how they came to Islam. I'm going to quote some ways that people have told me how they came to Islam. We had a Muslim that spoke at our church. That seed was planted in that person, and he didn't become a Muslim the day they gave the talk in the church. But a seed was planted that led them to Islam. Here's another person. I went to a Muslim funeral, and I was so impressed, and it made them follow up about the teachings of Islam. People have came and witnessed a wedding. What I'm trying to tell everybody don't come to the masjid and listen to a khutbah or come to the masjid on Friday to hear a talk. People that come to Islam just from little incident that took place outside of the masjid. So again, we have to know that we're not going to reach everybody, but we are going to reach somebody. And then that somebody is going to tell somebody, this is how I came to Islam. A guy spoke at our high school. He spoke at our elementary. He spoke at our church. He spoke at our family reunion. Because all these are speaking engagement. Yeah, the family reunion, it's not your family reunion and somebody says, I'd like for you to make some comment. What do Islam say about blood tie? What do Islam say about family life? What do Islam say about family structure? What do Islam say about the rights of family members? Your cookbar, your talk is already there. All those people are there because of a family reunion. A person might become a Muslim just from you speaking. So again, don't underestimate the powers of Allah. All we're supposed to do is drop it. In order to drop it, you got to believe that what you drop will cultivate itself. You're dropping Quran, you're dropping Islam, you're dropping Hadith. A seed, leave it alone. Don't try to stand over it and look at it. Just drop it and keep moving. Again, your job, clear delivery of the message, not to make nobody be a Muslim, not grant somebody faith. So at this time, we would like to turn the period to Q and A. And remember, there are other people that may have questions. We don't want domination during the question period. And if nobody asks a question after you ask your question, then you'll be allowed to ask a second question. Yes, sir, Brother Jihad.
Okay, yes, okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Huh? Okay. Oh, okay. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Jihad.
Wa alaikum assalam.
The name is Jihad Shahid Abdul Aziz. I have to go to work, so I want to make a quick comment. And when you're speaking about knowing how to speak and say something, in the midst of a lot of negativity that was going on about Muslim Islamophobia was very strong. I was at the Martyr 5-point station, and this young lady sitting next to me, she saw me with a Muslim newspaper. And she looked at me and she said, "Tell me about you Muslims." So very quickly I gave her the 5 principles. She nodded her head. Then she said, "What about Jesus?" Because she's a devout Christian. I said, as Muslims, Jesus is a Muslim. So she was looking at me. Then I defined Muslim. I said, Muslim is one who totally submits to the will of Almighty God. And she did that. I'll leave it at that. I have to go to work. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Remember, when you speak, let us know you're making a comment or you asking a question. We welcome both of them, but we welcome questions over comments. That's another person, another brother. And we don't want these questions and comments just coming from brothers or men. We want to hear from the women too, the sisters.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I have a question. So when you're giving your talk, how much does the audience reaction, like if you're watching the audience as you're speaking, affect the content? Like, if they're into it, do you add stuff in? If they seem like they're kind of in, do you take stuff out? Like, how does it affect the flow of your talk?
That's a very excellent question. Everyone know what body language is. You can see the audience is agreeing to what I'm saying. You can see the face expression. And sometimes when it's over with, it's someone in the audience that give me another speaking engagement. That speaking engagement let someone in the audience say, I want you to come to my class, I want you to come to my school, I want you to come to my church. But you don't see an expression like, man, I don't believe in what you're saying. It's like an eye-opener for them. And remember, you are the Islamic authority in your presentation. They are not an Islamic authority. And so we always see agreement. Sometimes we see people almost want to jump out that chair. I'm gonna give you some comment in a church. I'm speaking in a church on a Sunday in Lillette, Alabama. And I'm starting off quoting Quran. I start off with a prayer. It's Al-Fatiha. I don't tell them that it's the Quran. I don't tell them it's from the Quran. I don't tell them it's the first chapter in the Quran. I don't tell them this prayer is in the Quran. I just, English, begin to recite the prayer. So remember, they don't know my mood. They don't know what I'm going to say next. So they didn't know I was going to start off with that. As I'm saying, with God's name, the beneficent, the merciful, well, tell it, young man. Y'all don't hear him. And I actually lost my thought of what come next, because I'm not used to nobody interrupting me. So I had to think, what was the next line? So I, praise be to God, tell it. They are saying everything you saying, I agree with it. And you could tell that the people knew that that wasn't a statement that I was making up. So when we finished, we said a whole lot more things than just Al-Fatiha, but we finished, now we socialized. We had several people that say that was so beautiful. And we don't have a notebook or pad. They got a napkin. That prayer you said, could you write that down on this napkin for me? I never said it's from our holy book, but they felt the Spirit of God in my conversation when I was reciting the prayer. That's a beautiful prayer. Oh, I need to get that prayer. That's what I'm saying. You captivate the audience because you prove right away you're not a typical Negro. You prove right away I'm not no everyday speaker coming to a microphone. That our style and technique is unique. Yeah. I also want to give you another one. And this is a church. I mentioned in my conversation to the audience, Jesus, son of Mary. A lady in the audience took off, got out of her seat, walking real fast, coming at me at the rostrum. She's coming straight at me and looking real mean, and stopped midway, turned around and went back and sat down. When everything was over with, she was aggressive in coming to me. This is what she said. I was coming to the rostrum to correct you. You said Jesus, son of Mary. You didn't say Jesus, son of God. But then I thought about it. If that's his mother, he is the son of Mary. You see what I'm saying? You have to help people to think. So I said in a reaction to that, if that's true, then why don't you sometimes say Jesus, son of Mary? Why you never say it? Because you've been programmed to say Jesus, son of God. You help people to think. And I told her, you know, when a baby is born, there's no doubt where the baby comes from. There's no doubt who the mother is. The doubt is who's the father. We deal with what everybody agree on. We don't deal with something that we got disagreement. We disagree whether he's son, but everybody agree he's. And she said, you think that I'm from this church. I'm visiting just like you. And I did. I thought everybody in the audience, in my mind, belonged to this church. This is their minister. She said, no, I'm visiting. She said, at my church, we having a youth banquet, and we were looking for a guest speaker. Will you be our guest speaker? One engagement leads to another. Questions? Anyone have any questions? Yes. He's going to give you the mic. I love these young people with their questions because they help make me think.
So when she was running at you, how did you deal with being nervous when she was like running, and how did you deal with like keep on speaking?
Okay, I got down. I didn't understand the question. Somebody have to help me.
He was asking when, in your example, when the lady was like coming at you and you noticed that, how did you deal with any like feeling of being threatened or being nervous while she was like, you know?
A young man, I became in my survival mode. I'm going to knock her out. That was my mind. I don't know what she getting ready to do, pull out a knife, but I was in a defense mode. Yeah, and I'm telling you, she stopped on her own, turned around, went back and sat down. Because like I said, she was going to tell, sir, you made a mistake. He's son of God. But she just digested that idea, son of Mary. You know that, right? That is right. Yeah. I told you, our people, and when I say our people now, that's not everybody. My people. We have to help them to think. Many people think because something is popular and said a lot, that means it's the truth. Okay, how popular falsehood is, it never becomes the truth. Yes, Brother John. Yes, sir.
Have you ever been teaching and get people in the audience? Some might have an individual might agree with you so much, he might overreact or say, yeah, I believe that. Then he start getting ahead of you, say, yeah, I know the white man was this. I know he was the devil and all that. Sometimes they get a little bit ahead of you. Mm-hmm. How will you respond and then how to try to put them back on the right course?
Thank you. We have had people in the audience that actually want to take the conversation over. And we have to remind them who's in charge, who's speaking. And it's not necessarily disagreeing with me, but it's a spirit in that person where they say, I don't believe y'all heard what he just said. Did y'all hear what he just, I mean, it emotional, and I have to calm the person down. That happens. But I never had an audience that said, shut up, man, I don't want to hear no more of that, man. Why y'all let that man come in? That have never, I'm sure it have happened to somebody. It have never happened to me. Because you got to understand, you got to handle the people with kid glove. This is a one-time shot. You may not never get this chance again. And by the way, I have never spoken a church where they didn't invite me to come back again. I got certain churches, if I walk in and take a seat in the audience, the minister going to say, you know you can't sit there. Come on up here and sit up. Yeah. But when you give a talk and the people's attitude is, we ain't going to never let him speak again. And remember, you have to be patient with them. They do not have to be patient with you. You have to understand that. You know the truth, they don't. You have to have patience with them. You walking down the street with a 4-year-old child, who have to have the patience? You are the child. You do. You cannot walk that child whenever you want. You slowing your steps down to accommodate that. Now, you sitting in the audience and everybody is a scholar. Now they got to be patient with me. So you have to know who have to be patient. And the people, you have to be patient with them. You know, we have had people who want to ask questions before question time. And I have to tell them, you'll be the first one, or we haven't gotten that yet. But you don't never want to give them the spirit, I don't want to hear your question. And sometimes the audience, I've had the audience to check a person in the audience. Hey, didn't you just hear what he said? The people fight for you. When you make it clear and you remain that disciplined, the people will fight for you. I've had people who misunderstood. They said something, the lady said, that's not what he said. Yeah, very important. Q&A. And there's no book that I ever read that give us that. This is experience. You actually have to experience and trust Allah in what you're doing. But no book written telling you how to deal with it. And that audience, that's a church. You got the high school. You can't say the same thing the same way you did in a church. These are inmates. Some of them is in there for murder. You can't talk to them like it's a Jumu'ah khutbah. You have to know how to change gear. But they are people, so you relate to their nature. You relate to their seating, that all of these people are inmates. All these people are school teachers. That's how you address the people. And again, Allah has given us a product that we can meet any audience at any time and address them just for them. Yes.
So my question was, how do you overcome a feeling of being embarrassed or like realizing that you maybe forgot something while you're speaking?
Okay, so is that I forgot to say something, or I'm nervous, or tell me what you're saying.
You made a mistake while you were speaking, or you forgot something.
Hey, listen carefully. You have to correct the mistake in the public. You made the mistake in the public. You don't want that public to get away and they quote a statement. You said the Quran, right? And you think about it. Then you say, I want to let everyone know that was not the Quran. That was a statement from Prophet Muhammad, the prayer and the peace be upon him. There's a Quran out called the Noble Quran. Some of you have copies of it. But in the Noble Quran, they have some hadith on the side of the ayat sometimes. And you'll hear a person say who's not a Muslim, I read that in the Quran. Don't tell me that's not in the Quran. And you have to tell them that was not the Quran. That was something reported that the Prophet Muhammad said. That's why I don't like Quran when they do that. Quran should be nothing but Quran, where you can't make no mistake. But you got on the side of it some hadith. So when that person gets it, that's what he going to tell. I read that. Don't tell me I didn't read that in the Quran. And he did, but it wasn't Quran. Yeah, and don't let the people pray in your button to the point now you're arguing. That's going to be an embarrassment for Islam. And I tell people, I do not involve myself with debate. I involve myself with dialogue. What's the difference between the two? A debate is two or more people showing their ignorance. Dialogue is two or more people sharing knowledge. I do not let them engage me while I'm hollering and screaming, and I remain cool, calm, and collected. And when the people see this person out of order, they condemn him. They say, he ain't arguing with you. He ain't fussing with you. He telling you what his religion say. Now you done got all bent out of shape because it ain't what you believe in. I don't have to say nothing sometimes. But you hollering, they hollering. Who the fool? Who the ignorant one? Yeah. No, he got to give you the mic.
One of the things, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
One of the things I've learned, when it's going back and forth, between two of us, I'm making an Islamic presentation, and they want to argue is that what happens is that a lot of times your intent might be to deliver it, gently or whatever, however you want to call it, with some charisma. But your voice might be a little bit, overbearing, you know what I mean? And they'll take it that way, and that triggers them to argue with you. That's what I found.
You ever heard the saying, don't let them see you sweat. Don't let them press your button. Remember, you represent all of the Muslims at that moment. And they're going to make a judgment call. We enjoyed it. It was wonderful. He argued with us. It seemed like he want to fight. Don't let them take you there.
Right.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Ma'am, I don't have a question. I'm just going down memory lane. Long time ago, we went to Carrollton. I never forget that. And the preacher talked about us like a dog. He talked about us real bad. I had to hide behind the benches when he got through talking. But when it got back to you, and you spoke on you a guest, and you have been trained to treat every guest with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And the church,
I remember that.
the church turned on the preacher that was condemning you without giving you a chance to speak. I never forget that in Carrollton, Georgia. And thank you for having that patience to deal with that in the right way. Allah bless you
Yes.
to deal with that in a respectful way. And we left there, like you said, and left there, and the people wanted you to come back.
Yes.
Thank you.
And let me say this. This is a saying. This is a quotation. They say that an ignorant person can insult a wise person, but a wise person cannot insult an ignorant person because he don't even know when he's been insulted. That's how ignorant he is.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question. I know you do a lot of speaking. I guess you learn from a whole lot of things. But if you ever made a speech and left and thought about something you said that it might have wasn't correct or something, and you felt bad about it, it's kind of hard to correct that when you leave. I know you say you correct it when you know you correct it, but sometimes you do something you think about after you leave and say, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yes. And you should seek forgiveness. You should seek Allah's mercy. And you should repent behind that. But let me say this. Your audience, they're going to always remember you. I'm in a grocery store shopping, and I catch someone staring at me. And that person says, I know you. I can't figure out where I know you from. Or I've seen you before. So they continue to shop. They come around and it hit them. They say, you know what? You spoke at our church. They don't forget you. I'm telling you, because your message is unique, it's different, it's sobering, it's connected. Ain't no it's connected. But remember I said in my opening that it goes from being afraid of an audience, stage fright, to fearing that you're going to say something that wasn't the truth. So now you're misguiding somebody. That's the fear you're going to always want to keep. That these people are going to leave here and they're going to quote me. And I don't want them to quote the wrong thing. That fear is forever. And we call it taqwa. We call it the fear of Allah. I fear disobeying Allah. Not the dinosaur, not the lion or the snake. I fear to disobey. That person is mutaki. The one who feared to disobey Allah. Yes. Anyone else?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
When teaching our audience or transmitting information to them, how do you? Me personally, I have a hard time teaching someone that's preschool. Adults who have a preschool mentality, and then going up to 12th grade. Sometimes it's hard for me to get back and retrace my steps of how I learned al-Islam, because I wasn't really learning it to teach anybody. I was learning it for myself. And then you get placed in that position of teacher, and you scratch your head. Where did I learn it? I know it, but you assuming.
Okay, I got it.
Yes.
First of all, sometimes we look at the audience and we see ourselves. And it's a good sign to see a reflection of where you was, or where you used to be. And again, you got to be conscious that this person may know something about Islam, but you got to treat them like they don't know nothing about Islam. Sometimes you'll talk to a person one-on-one from the same audience. Well, I know y'all believe this, and I know y'all believe that, but you said something I didn't know. I learned something. So everybody's not on zero, where they don't have no knowledge of Islam. And some of them, they'll come to you. I got a cousin, a Muslim, and I remember him praying. He got on his knees in our house, and they relate to something you said in your talk. They make that kind of connection. And some of the people, they going to tell you, this is not my first time hearing you, or this is not my first time seeing you. Again, I was in the Cobb County Jail, coming out of the jail, and there was a guy saying, man, I know you, man. And so he stopped me from going through the metal detector. He stopped. He said, man, please, let me figure out where I know you from. Here you go. He said, I was at night, late at night, with the television on, and I was channel searching. And then I flipped to a channel and you were speaking. And I couldn't change the channel anymore. You got my attention. And I said, I hope one day to meet this guy. And here I am in the Cobb County Jail. I'm telling you. And see, when you're on television, everybody see you. You don't see nobody. You don't know who's seeing you. And that's what should also make you conscious that I got an audience that I don't even see. I got to make sure I be on point. Because there they go. I seen that man on TV. Yes, he did say something. They're going to quote you. You want them to quote you right and not quote something that's not proper in Islam. It's a challenge. But always remember, you are the Islamic authority, not the audience.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
So my question is, when teaching the youth, like young Muslims, like what is like the process to like developing someone's like faith and like fear of Allah? Like how do you connect that to someone?
Okay, someone help me out with the question.
He's asking for how do you help someone develop their fear of Allah and their relationship with Allah and their concern for Allah?
Okay, excellent question. We have to be around those that we want to be like. Throughout the Quran and throughout your life, Allah is going to constantly point out to you two people. The first one, this is the person that you don't want to be like. Next person, this is the person that you want to be like. Throughout the Quran, Allah talks about groups. And as you read about the groups, you learn that that's the group I don't want to be with. Then you hear a certain group, that's me, that's the group I want to be in. And that's how life is with all people, that you want to be with the people that got what you're trying to get. You'll never be a carpenter running around with a plumber. It ain't going to happen. You're going to have to run around with somebody that got what you want. That's why we always say the weak can't help the weak. The blind can't help the blind. They both fall in a ditch. And you can't run around with just anybody who say they are Muslim. You have to run around with somebody who have proven around you that they Muslim, that they believe. I've had a brother in my car, a Muslim, rolled the window down and hollered at a woman, just like men do to women. And I told the brother, you can't do that in my car. The people think I believe and act just like you. If you can't get your behavior together, I'm going to put you out of my car. I got zero tolerance for a Muslim hollering at a woman like that. So you have to have right away, this is the person, I can't run with him. This is the person, I love being with this person. I learn something every day. I admire this brother, he's strong. You weak, you need to be with the strong. So company, companion is very important. When you read about the companions of Prophet Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with them, there was a strong camaraderie. They could check each other, but they all had special traits, and each one of the traits they needed from the other one. One was strong, one was weak, but he learned, I got to be with him to become strong. And again, we don't come into this religion perfect. We don't come into this religion, we don't commit any more sin. You were doing 10 things wrong, now you're doing 8. You're doing 8, now you're doing 6. You have to work on that. But to accept that I'm okay with that, it's not okay. You're supposed to make 5 prayers every day. You're praying 3 times a day. That's good, because when you came in, you weren't even praying at all. But don't ever say that's okay. Don't ever say that's acceptable. I got 3, I got to get these other 2 down. That's the spirit. When you know what you're supposed to do and you're not doing it, you don't accept it. I got to do better than this. I mentioned in the cook bar yesterday, you got to learn to talk to yourself. I got to stop getting up making fard salat at 9 o'clock in the morning. You're talking to yourself. This is unacceptable. But when it's cool, it's all right. No, you got to do better than that. And so again, learn to be with the strong. Don't be with the weak. Yes. And it's not something you do in one day. It's a time element involved. And again, you know who to run with. And if you know who to run with, now you know who not to run with. I don't try to be with every Muslim. I'm not trying to learn every Muslim. I don't know every Muslim. But I know the good one that I know of. That's the company I want to be. The Christians sang a song. Oh, when the saint go marching in. Oh, how I want to be in that number. That's not all the people. That's a selected group you want to be in. So again, we want to be with the best of the Muslim and not just anybody who just say they are Muslim. Anyone else?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
What advice do you have for writing a speech?
I tell you, listen carefully. I want you to think about this. Do you write a speech when you talk to your wife or your husband? Do you write a speech when you talk to your son or your daughter? You can write a speech, and Allah have shown me. You can write it, and then you might say, boy, if I give this, boy, I know I'm going to get the people. The wind, blow it out your hand. You left it on the shelf in the house. What you going to do now? So what I'm saying, only what's in the heart can reach the heart. When I'm speaking, I'm not so much trying to reach their intellect. You know, the heart is going to be close to nature and what's right. The mind can be corrupted. I'm trying to reach their heart to heart. I don't need no notes. And I think my wife would look at me real crazy when I'm talking to her. I said, wait a minute, let me find. The love for her, it just come naturally. I love my people. And some of you scared to say that. You scared to say you love your people because somebody have told you supposed to love everybody. No, I love my people because I know them. I'm one of them. The Prophet Muhammad was an Arab. He never forgot that. He was from the most noble tribe, the Quraysh. He never forgot that. So it don't mean I won't speak to other people, but it does mean I don't know other people. I don't know the Korean. I don't know the Japanese. I know my people. And some of you don't even know how to communicate when you see your people because somebody told you can't do that. You won't do this. You won't speak that language where they recognize he Muslim, but he still recognize that I'm his brother, that I'm one of his person. So we have to use any technique that cause us to be connected to them. And again, don't fear to say my people. There's no harm in saying that. Yes.
I've got a question.
Yes.
If you are just starting out and speaking publicly for the first time, I remember getting butterflies in my stomach to the point where it created acid. And how do you deal with that?
Repetition. Everybody can remember your first fast in Ramadan. Don't care how many you did, you remember your first one. You remember the first time you got to talk. Look, let me show you how profound when you do something the first time. I'm going to quote to you an Easter speech that I gave in a church when I was a little boy. Can't get it out of my head. I was nervous as I don't know what. What you looking at me for? I didn't come to stay. I'm here to tell you today is Easter Day. I ain't forgot that yet. That was my first speech. I was a little bit of... So the first stands out, but when you do it a second time and a third time, it becomes easy and easy, repetition. Even the greeting. A sister came here doing iftar. I think Ron was here. She gave the greeting, and it was perfect. She said, I got it. She said, how I keep doing? Repetition. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Repetition. Same way with the five prayer. You go to a point where I don't know how I'm going to start making five. That's too many prayers. I don't know how I'm going to do that. To now you live a lifestyle, you can't live without it. You can't even imagine not making five. So you're going to have the butterfly. You know, when people get married, I tell them, you're supposed to be nervous. It's nothing wrong with being nervous. You're getting ready to get married. You're going to have butterflies. But again, when it's time to speak, you should speak. If this is your first speech, make it brief. Sometimes those are the best speeches. Just make it brief. Don't try to talk in a way like you've been doing this for years. You're going to mess up. Brief. And the repetition is going to come. But again, the nervousness should be, I'm going to say something that Islam don't teach. I'm going to say something that the Quran don't say. Not stage fright. That was a promotion. First, it was stage fright. Now, I don't care who hear me. I don't care if it's 100 people, 1,000 people. I'm going to drop the words of Allah. I'm going to drop the words of His Messenger. I'm going to drop the teaching of Islam and don't care who don't like it. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I guess the best way to say this would be like, what would be like the most effective strategies you would suggest for a woman, especially when she has to speak to other women, groups of other women, or mixed groups? Because a lot of times there's preconceived notions, I guess, that, you know, you will have like, you know, somebody who's like, well, I'm Imam so-and-so and your sister so-and-so. Or you have certain sisters who would very much on an empowerment movement type of thing that are ready, before you even speak, they're ready to say, oh, well, that's because you're oppressed, you know. So before a woman even speaks, there's so many preconceived notions. They don't even think about the fact that, yes, this is the Islamic expert for the moment. Let me listen. Is there certain things that we should do to prepare, and is there a certain way to start a speech to gain control of this of the room right away?
Let me say this to you. Are we talking about a Muslim woman talking to just women? Are we talking about a Muslim woman talking to men and women? What are we talking about?
I was actually talking about both.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could give, you know, examples for both. For
Okay.
speaking to Muslim women and speaking in mixed crowds, yeah.
And remember I said earlier that most of Islam is etiquettes, manners. Your manners give you away. They recognize that you're not just a regular woman or a regular black person. Even your manner. And I mentioned also, don't let people bend you out of shape. So again, the demeanor, your manners, it's almost like a sermon by itself. Some of the brothers have heard me make this statement. And brothers, I'm sure some woman have made this statement to you. Sometimes I'm around non-Muslim women, and this is what they would say to me. I don't know why when I'm around you, I feel safe. I don't know why when I'm around you, I feel like a lady. It's the demeanor. It's my manner. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Please. I'm not trying to get your phone number. I'm not trying to get to know you like that. They notice that. And the same way as a Muslim sister, when you display your Islamic behavior and etiquette as a woman, don't think people not taking note. And remember, if you do it right, you have other people defending you. You have women that say, she didn't cut you off. She didn't talk to you like that. Why are you talking to her? You won't even have to do that. The people will see that you are respectful. You let them talk. You talking, they're cutting you off. People see that and they will say something to the person. That's not right the way you talk to her. Now she stood there and listened to your whole conversation. You asked her the question, what she feel about Jesus. You getting upset because she telling you what her religion say. She ain't trying to convert you. She not trying to tell you that you don't have to believe Jesus is the Son of God. She said she don't. And you getting, I'm telling you, they would do that all the time. And again, women, they know men from dogs. They know the difference. They know the difference. And Islam teaches us to build off the good in the people. You know, a clock that's not working is right twice away. So it's some people, they wrong, but they got some good thing that you can build off of. Like I have told a non-Muslim woman, she pulled out a cigarette and got ready to light it. I said, you know, I would have never thought that you smoke. You don't even look like a. I built off of that. She never lit the cigarette up unless she lit it up when I left. But I told her, I said, you don't even look like that kind of woman. If you hadn't put on, I would have never known you smoke. That's what I'm talking about. Build off the good in the person. They don't have to be a Muslim. I got a brother, he go to work. He said, I go to work and I just go home. I go to work and I just go home. I said, do you know that's already Islamic? Do you know that's already part of the Muslim men lifestyle? We don't get off and go to the club and on the corner. And listen, I got his attention. I'm building off of the good of Islam that he's practicing that he don't even know. You got women that practice Islam. You should tell them, do you know that's already Islamic? For real? Yeah, Muslim women, you got ways like a Muslim woman. Build off of that. And don't have everything. Astaghfirullah. Ain't nobody doing nothing right but you, the Muslim. No, there's some people, they doing some good things. Yes. Yes.
So, my question is basically, say, for example, you have like a son or a younger brother who, around like the age of 11 or 12, started really focusing on or dedicating themselves to being Muslim, but they have issues with taking their relationship with God seriously. And you want to help them take their relationship with God more seriously and be more like fearful of what Allah says do and do not do.
Well, you know, in Islam, age means a lot. A 10-year-old versus a 16-year-old, you can't put the same responsibility on both, but you have to give the Islamic position on that age bracket. A Muslim child, 10 years old, they should be making prayer. But sometimes we'll treat them like they're exempted. Age bracket represents maturity. It represents development. You know, some people, they can look at your behavior and almost guess your age. Because they see your development is, you got to be at least 19 years old. You got to be at least 18 years old. But when you not doing the right thing, now that's called retarded. How would you look at a person 14 years old and still in the 4th grade? When I hear a Muslim tell me, I've been a Muslim 20 years, I expect certain thing out of that Muslim. But I'm finding out he got a smoking problem. I got to find out he got a little drinking problem. I'm finding out that he don't make his prayer. A baby come here 9 pounds. 10 years later, should that baby still weigh 9 pounds? A baby come here 18 inches long. 12 years later, he's still 18 inches long. So again, your numbers of years in this religion should show growth. Now when you see certain people, you can say, I remember when I was there. I remember when I was 15. I'm talking to some young teenagers. I remember when I was 15. That's when I became a Muslim. And they shocked. They were born and raised Muslim. Wow. And you have to, without cutting them up, you have to show them that you're not where you should be. Mother and father is Muslim, brother and sister Muslim. You was raised in Islam and you know further than this. You have to show them that's abnormal development. And to the brothers, you have to start bringing your children, especially your son, to the masjid where they recognize later on in life. My daddy used to always take me to the masjid. But now, Daddy never took me to the masjid. Or we only prayed when we went to the masjid. We never prayed when we got home. Don't think children don't remember. They remember. Yes. So what I'm saying is that we got work to do. And we got more work to do on us than we do the person outside of us. Yeah. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Imam.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Alhamdulillah. I appreciate Allah having you in our lives, my family, and Jihad and myself. I have to share with you, believers. Brother Imam Furqan gave Jihad and I, we were married here in this masjid. That's what I want to say. And praise be to Allah, I'm still here. This is the masjid of the believers. And with that, I'm saying to my dear brothers, that's what I want you all to do as your sister and as a mother and a grandmother and all of that. In this community, I think it's really important that my brothers prepare for marriage. To be a good brother, good etiquette with your spirit, your heart, your mind, your body, your hair, all of that is so important. And I'm saying that to say, we as sisters, as our dear Imam, I'm quoting our Imam now, said that the brothers are legs of society. We are society. As I heard one says, I didn't hear everything she said, but we are to represent society, the way we carry ourselves, etc., being a mother, and etc. But you are to carry this, as I'm seeing so many of you on the other side, of just a few sisters, you are to carry this religion as an imam and as a brother into society, and we will be behind you, representing you, pushing you forward, and thanking Allah that you are doing what you're supposed to do. Inshallah, I want to see more of you come to the masjid with the beautiful haircuts, your suits, not the ties, being ethically dressed, beautifully dressed, and being yourself, because you are special to me and my family and as sisters, and we care about you. Love is a working word, and it's sharing and caring. I pray Allah what I shared was beneficial, and inshallah, I hope to be able to speak to you again sometime soon. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
I want to say to everyone, your lifestyle is the best cookbook that can be given. People are watching us. If you don't know, the Muslims are the most watched peoples in the world. They watching us. We need to be aware of that. And we don't want to live a lifestyle that suggests we have two lifestyles. We want to live a lifestyle that suggests we only have one lifestyle. Some of us, we good in the masjid, but when we hit the street, we somebody else. That's brothers and sisters. Sister dressed up so nice in the masjid on Friday, and I see her in the mall I don't even recognize. I cannot believe that the same sister I seen at Juma. It's one dress code. It's not two dress codes. We got one in the masjid, and we got another dress code when we hit the street. That's not us. And you can't help yourself if you don't realize your weak point. All of us have weaknesses, and we don't have to broadcast them. We don't have a man that we go to as a priest and confess our sin. You have to look at what you're doing and tell your own self, I got to do better than this. I've been a Muslim 18 years. I got to do better than this. And again, I mentioned in the cookbook, you'll never be clean staying away from the soap and the water. You'll never be a good Muslim staying away from the believer. This is a community religion. You have to practice it with other people who believe like you. You can't live this religion on an island to yourself. And some of us, we trying to do that, live the religion on an island all by ourselves. We have to get to know each other. How you gonna get to know each other and you stand away from each other? The only way we can get to know each other is to be with each other and learn your name, learn that you're a bricklayer, learn that you're a model bus driver, etc. Other than that, I can see you for years and I didn't know you was in construction. And I didn't know, and the list goes on. We have to mix with each other. If the world is watching us more than anybody else, then who have to be conscious of that behavior more than a Muslim? Yeah. Look magazine, many years ago. You know, Look magazine don't exist anymore. But when it existed, they interviewed Minister Farrakhan in his house. They had him, it may not have been that magazine, but I know it was some magazine. And they look it up, I tell you that. They're just looking at one thing. Did he stop to pray? You say you're a Muslim. It's people, they don't know a lot about Islam, but they know about you don't eat pork. They know you're supposed to pray 5 times a day, and they know you can have more than one wife. If they don't know nothing else. So you have to understand, they watching for confirmation. Yes, he is a Muslim. Yes, he's a pretender. He playing like he's a Muslim. And I told you your demeanor, your manners, it means everything. I've had women younger than me, and I say to them, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And they say, I'm younger than you. Why would you say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am? I said, well, I can change it and say yes, sir, and no, sir. She said, no. So again, don't let people change your manners. So when we here, we Muslim. We on the street, we Muslim. And you know, if you want to show up anything that's dirty, just be clean. You don't have to give no talk. You don't have to give no speech. It's dirty, just lay next to it. And the people say, man, he's so clean. See, we be thinking we need to speak sometimes. No, your action is there. I've been at meetings when everybody in the meeting supposed to be a religious leader, the clergy. We 10 minutes into the meeting, and I raised my hand. Yes, and that demeanor is like, yeah, what you want? A Muslim, what you want? I said, I think since all of us are religious leaders, I think we should at least open up with prayer. Now what religious leader gonna say no to that? I said, I think we should open with prayer. Now the attitude is, yes, you mind open up with prayer? He should have never did it. I'm a Muslim. I don't know but one way. I'm not the traditional Christian preacher prayer. And I made the prayer. The whole atmosphere in the building changed. So when something's going off like this, we have to be the one that bring it back. We're supposed to be religious leader, and we got a meeting, and we're not going to open with prayer. And the people, and don't you know everyone there never forgot that a Christian was corrected by a Muslim, and they couldn't do nothing about it. Yeah. So again, we don't know how much power we have in just living up to what we supposed to be. Yes.
How do you make sure you don't put an audience to sleep?
But before I answer that, I'm going to give y'all a joke, okay? You know, I told you story helped preacher giving this sermon. On the front row, some people start going to sleep, and the deacon is read by him. He said, go out there and wake up such and such. The deacon said, I'm not going to do that. You the one put them to sleep. You go out there and wake them up. I ain't. So when we see people that maybe what you saying, they're going to sleep, you have to stop right then in your talk, give a joke, make some humor, do something, and you'll see that person come back. Sometime in a talk, you know, some of you get sleepy and you should go wash up and come back. I mean, you have to recognize what it is. An ace is an ace. It can't be nothing other than that. And sometimes when you mention things like that, the person who was sleeping wakes up. Because you know what he's saying? He's talking about me. I ain't call your name. What are you talking about? So again, but you should be conscious that you don't give something to make people go to sleep. And remember I talked about the attention span? You're talking too long sometimes. That's why they're going to sleep. Short, sweet. And I tell people that our comment is more powerful than somebody's whole sermon. I don't have a problem with somebody giving a 30-minute talk and you give me 5 minutes. Because I know my 5 minutes is going to be greater than that 30 minutes, unless they're a Muslim giving Islamic teaching. And I've been in a church where we through preaching or through talking, services ended, and they serving food. They give me my food on a platter, and they give their minister food in a styrofoam tray. I'm the guest. I'm not the minister. And I also have heard, and I shared this with some of you, I have spoke, and somebody in the church come up to me and said, man, I'm going to just tell the truth. They should let you give the whole sermon. Yeah. Truth is distinguished. Just like the sun is distinguished. You can't deny that sun when it's at high noon. And again, you don't have to do nothing but just drop it and people will gravitate. Before you leave, they want to shake your hand. Before you leave, what's your phone number? Before you leave, man, me and you should go to lunch sometime. Just from a 5 to 8 minute talk. You just like the porch light, draw bugs, turn it off, they leave. You are light for that 5 or 8 minutes. You are light, and they recognize you are a light. Let me get his phone number. Let me get his name. Let me shake his hand. Yes. Like I say, just trust it. Just drop it. Just trust what the religions say. And a lot of stuff we don't trust it because it sounds too simple. You mean just quote the Quran and don't say it's the Quran? Just give it and watch the reaction. It's magnificent. Alhamdulillah.
My last question is, what's the biggest speaking engagement you've ever had?
The biggest speaking engagement. Let me think for a moment. I think my biggest speaking engagement was something dealing with education. I think it was a graduation or something. They had me to speak. And most of the people was young people. I think that was the biggest. And I can't say television because I don't know how big the audience was. I didn't see my audience. And also on the radio too. When I'm on a radio program, the person who invited me opened the floor for question on a radio program. And we don't never have enough time to entertain the questions of people try to get my name and number so when the program is over, we can continue dialogue with them away from the radio station. So that's an interesting question though. Yes. And, you know, I've spoken at conventions and things. How many people is at the convention? I've spoken at many conventions. So, alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
What am I salam?
Brother Imam, one of the main things that is easily observable is the manner in which you speak that really stands out. And what advice do you have for those who tend to speak a little faster? I tend to speak fast. And slowing down is very difficult. But the fact that you talk very deliberately and slowly, what advice do you have for anyone who wants to slow their game down? Basically?
Okay, first of all, one of the best advice that I can give you, don't try to be somebody else. Be your own self. Develop your own style. Don't be a copycat. You can take bits and pieces from different people and add that into your life, your talk, how you do it. So it's still yours, even though you took something from here, but it's still uniquely yours. You don't want to try to be somebody. And repetition is the key. Whether you speak once a week, 2 times a week, it got to be a repetition. Speaking every blue moon is not going to get it. You need more than that. The young imams here, I try to keep them active because giving one cookbar and don't give another one in 2 months, that's not going to get it. And then remember, our work is in the street. I speak more in the streets than I do in the masjid. You know, one of the things that I'm hard on is Muslims sitting around talking like we're trying to convert each other. You a Muslim, I'm a Muslim. I mean, go out there where somebody believes something totally different than you. Now we're going to see what you're made out of. You know, but the work is in the street. That's what I'm telling you. The work is in the street. We meet here, we make prayer, we eat, then we hit the street. That should be our attitude. And again, you work on a job, your attitude, everything on your job should be distinguished. The supervisor knows that it's something about you. The different people in leadership on your job, they know. They don't know it's because you're a Muslim. Even if you told them it was a Muslim, that's not, I don't think that. You ever heard someone say, I just like being around you? And you say to them, it's because I'm a Muslim. No, I don't think it's that. Yep, that's what it is. I got people that call me, they done heard something on the news. They calling me for one reason. What do you think about? Why you value my comments? They value your comments. I just want to hear your spin on what just happened, etc. But we got people that love our company, and they don't know why. And we have to tell them, it's because I'm a Muslim. Yeah. Yeah. If we go overtime, everybody know whose fault it is, right? Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
It's being very social. It's very important being a great speaker, like socializing with all types of people. Because I know you speak with a lot of people, you know. So being social instead of being antisocial would that improve you being a great speaker and speaking to people in general.
Yeah. And see, we have to move the stigma. One of the stigma for Muslim only help Muslim. Muslim only want to be with Muslim. So we have to have the people where they see the human side of you. That he's speaking to me in a way where he's not trying to convert me. He's just sharing something with me. Some of us, we constantly give a talk that suggests, I'm trying to convert you. That's not the way of Islam. Clear delivery of the message, what you do with it, how you process, that's between you and God. But I never try to convert someone. I have people, I give a talk, they say, so in other words, you saying we wrong. I didn't say you were wrong. In other words, you saying we stupid. I ain't say you were stupid. So don't have this spirit that the only way is your way. And that the only way you're going to get to heaven is that you be a Muslim. That's allowing you to have someone outside of you imitating them. We ain't trying to imitate the Christian. We ain't trying to imitate the Jews. We ain't trying to imitate nobody. And again, our lifestyle is a sermon. Our lifestyle is a lecture. And we have to continue to know that the best lecture is the way you live. My neighbors on my left and right and across the street, they know I'm a Muslim. But they never say I tried to convert them. What they will say, he one of the best neighbors you could ever ask for. I had one neighbor say, me and my wife were talking about moving, but they said, Mr. Muhammad gonna move with us? We're gonna find a neighbor like him, because when the garbage man come and they gone, I pull that garbage up. I don't ask them, can I pull your garbage up? I just pull it up. They get ready to go out of town. They say, Mr. Muhammad, we're gonna be gone for about 3 days. Look out for the house. Nowhere do they hear you need to be a Muslim. You need to come to Islam. So now, when people come to them talking about negative thing about Muslim, they say, well, I got a neighbor Muslim. And he don't act like that. He don't act like no terrorist. He ain't act like he's trying to blow up America and all. They have a comparison, what they saying, versus their Muslim neighbor. Yeah. And then also, I've been somewhere where I'm visiting a Muslim. I'm actually visiting a Muslim, and I'm visiting a Muslim that I've been knowing for a long time. I just happen to know where he lived. And I see somebody in the neighborhood that went to school with me. And they asked me, what are you doing in my part of the woods? What you doing in my neck of the woods? I said, I'm visiting my Muslim brother. Where? I said, right there. What? Bust you out. They said, wait a minute. You say he's a Muslim? I said, yeah. Because they're dealing with what they know about my behavior versus a person that I'm saying is a Muslim that live in the house. They say, it must be two kind of Muslim. He ain't no Muslim. And maybe because they getting night visit, 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, people up in their house. But their behavior is, I don't believe this person is a Muslim who you saying is a Muslim. So again, lifestyle, it means everything. I have people who give me keys. I said, well, you give me a key. If anything should happen, I want you. No, man, I don't need your key. I trust you more than I trust my son. I trust you more than I trust my brother. And they know I'm Muslim. I'm going to close with this because I can show so many examples. You all know I work in jails and I work in prison. Prison, state and federal. I have inmates who ask me to do things and they don't ask the Christian chaplain the same thing. And I have to explain, you know I'm Muslim? Yeah, that's why I want to talk to you. I'm leaving the jail and there's an officer having some issues. Hey, Chaplain Muhammad, can I holler at you? Me and my wife, we having some issues. We were just wondering, could you sit down with us? Wait a minute. You know I'm Muslim. Yeah. Don't you have a church? Yeah. Don't you have them here? Yeah, but we don't want to put them in our business. I'm telling you, people know goodness when they see it. Yeah. So I'm just saying, all we have to do is just keep on being Muslim, that comparison, so they don't see me in the jail or the prison just as a chaplain. They see me as a Muslim chaplain, which distinguish me from all the other chaplains that lie to them. I'm going to bring you a Bible. I'm going to come back and see you. Because somebody there said, look, man, the chaplain said he's going to bring me a Bible. Is there any way you can, I said, it's a whole box of Bible upstairs. Could you bring me one? I don't say, I want to bring you a Quran. I don't say, I want you to be a Muslim. I go bring the Bible to him. And when I bring the Bible to him, he's shocked. My Christian chaplain wouldn't bring me a Bible. He said he was going to bring me one. You're a Muslim and you bring it back the same day. I gave a talk in the jail. This person get out of jail. I don't know he's out. I meet him at Firestone. He works for Firestone. I'm there to buy some tires. I'm there to buy 4 tires. I don't remember him. He running the cash rate. I do not know him. He whisper, I know you. I said, yeah. You know I know you from? No. I was locked up. What you doing here? I said, I'm here to get 4 tires. You still doing that work you do? Yes. I tell you what, I'm going to buy 2, you buy 2. I've had them to say, I tell my Christian brothers, it was a Muslim who made me a better Christian. I would love to say it was a Christian made me a better Christian. He said, I came to your service and you made some statement that made me say to myself, he's really saying I am a hypocrite. I didn't call him a hypocrite. I said, be true to your faith. Be true to what you say you believe in. And behind that statement, I done got out, go to church, try to do what a Christian's supposed to do. I had no idea was I ever going to see you. I just tell this story to other Christians that I would love to say a Christian made me a better Christian. But it was a Muslim that made me a better Christian. We got to just keep on live your lifestyle, live this religion. It's going to draw people like a light, and the peoples are in the dark. They recognize you different. You can never draw nobody and you just like them. You got to be different than them, and they recognize that you are different. Not sometimes. You're different all the time. So again, practice the deen. Don't talk it, live it. And you'll see people around you. They'll change. They'll have more respect for you. They see you just not a man, you're a Muslim man. You're not just a chaplain, you're a Muslim chaplain. They see you in a whole different light. And they recognize you only different because you're a Muslim. Let us close with dua. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.